So the big question is this. How entrepreneurs like us who have been breaking with old beliefs, like the idea of holding a 9-to-5 job and living paycheck to paycheck, taking a lifetime to reach business and life success as the only option we have? How do we grow our business in a way that lets us highly service our customers, getting our products and services and the things that we believe in out into the world without diluting our life but enhancing it and taking the journey of internal and external growth? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Your host is Marina Simon, and welcome to 10 Exit. Life and business as usual? Never again.
Well, this morning I woke up and for some reason, YouTube threw at me a video about a Buddhist monk. Very interesting. And it said, morning routine. And I'm curious, right? As I told you before, I did a course on religions. And Buddhism is one of the religions that has caught most the attention to me because, believe it or not, it does not believe in a God, but it's still a religion. It's a religion in sense of the East, not the West. So it's more about spirituality, and it really caught my attention, right? So I thought, well, this might be interesting. So I play it, right? Here's the very cute monk, right? Young monk with his beautiful orange, I don't know how they call it. It's like the cape they use for living. That's their dress. So I'm going to share with you his morning routine because he has points that really resonated with successful activities I've done in my own mornings that have made a difference in my day, in my week, in my month, in my year, in my life. So I want to share them with you. Okay. So first of all, something that I've been trying recently, it's zero, the first point which it prepares you to the 5 points that this monk gave us, right? So one is limit your dinner. Interesting enough because it's a preparation for the next day, right? I tell you, I love food. I love food. I guess I have been an athlete all my life because I love food and I do not want to stop eating things that I like, right? But something that I've been seeing with, especially when you get older, your metabolism kind of changes. And so when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I wake up sluggish, sometimes I wake up clear-minded, sometimes I wake up with a lot of energy, sometimes I wake up exhausted. And I'm like, okay, what is the common point of the different changes on my different mornings? And the viewpoint really, and my observation, not viewpoint really, is that every morning that I wake up really light, really awake, not sleepy, not sluggish, without aches and pains, etc., is when I've had stopped eating around 6 o'clock the night before. As a Mexican, we used to eat until late at night. Sometimes we'll have dinner at 10 o'clock at night. Even in Spain, we will have dinner at 11, 12 o'clock at night, right? And when you go partying or whatever, right? So it's interesting. But here, when I try to stop eating at 6, really, my mornings run amazingly. I sleep great, and I can wake up at 4:30, no problem, in the morning. And so I want to share this with you because it's a prep point in order for your next day. Additional that you feel light, you feel good with your body, it's like it's easy to carry it, and you rest better. Okay, fair enough. This is not a nutrition or anything else podcast for now. So it will be your prep point, your point number 0. Now, the next point is wake up early. Something as well that I've experienced myself is when I wake up before the sunshine, it's amazing because you can receive the sun coming out. It's a quiet time. Nobody's in your face or calls or text messages, or, you're not influenced by all this, incoming communication in different ways, right? Or your family or your friends or whatever. It's time for you that you can use however you want. Sometimes when I have a lot of work, I will wake up really early and I will tackle the work, or I normally go to my CrossFit 5 to 6. So wake up early and it tastes different. Your morning coffee tastes different. I don't know what is it about early mornings, but I feel that I really am creating my day and I can elongate it as much as possible. Now, within that first point, he mentioned something that it really caught my attention, right? It says, reflect on death. Death, yes. It sounds morbid, right? First, I'm like, what the hell is he talking about, right? It sounds funky. But I tell you something that I realize. In the West, we are not very drilled on death. And if you look at it, it's a cycle of action of life. You start, you change, and you stop. It's something that when you get into this life, you know that that's something that is going to happen for sure, right? And funny enough, when people around you die, it's really a shock sometimes, right? When it has been just fast, or when it's slow by cancer or other cycles, you're predicting it. But the point is, it cuts you normally by surprise. And what he talks about here is not really just think about death, but because you know that day will come at some point, right? Either early, later, we all expect to do it later in life. You enjoy every day as if it was your last, and you create it as if it was your last. And if not as if it was your last, but you're thankful that you're here playing the game of life. And you play it the best way possible. You give yourself the best way possible to others. You love the best. You create your best day ever. And it's a viewpoint that is very interesting because it allows you, first of all, to enjoy your creation of life every day anew. Because every time you wake up, it becomes old. You're always going to wake up, right? Next day until it's over. But if you look at it like, what a blessing being able to wake up. You really are putting the right importances of life. Because death will come at some point, right? And it's also preparing you so it doesn't become as unexpected, and also preparing you, for what? For living life to the fullest. I thought it was magnificent, and yeah, just being grateful for every day afresh. Okay, next point that he makes is make your bed. What does he mean by that, truly? Okay, you make your bed, you fix your area. First of all, it's nice to stay or live in a clean environment, an organized environment. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be full of luxuries, but it has to be clean and organized, an area where you're comfortable operating at, right? The other thing is discipline. Right? I remember when I was a kid, right? You want to hear a short story? I used to wake up and I'm like, why does my mother wants me to do my bed? I have to go back again in a couple of hours, right? It's like, again, it's going to be night. So why should I do my bed? I don't get it. Such a mess, right? It's like, extra effort. I remember thinking this. I'm like, why will I do my bed again? And then again, I'm going to unmade it. So it's interesting because it's a point of discipline, right? There's things that that maybe there's things in your house that you look at it and you're like, oh God, I need to fix this. Yeah. But it's not a priority because it's not, it's not stopping you from your daily routine, right? Like it's not like you don't have water or whatever. So something that is behind. But you know what? It's a point of discipline. Putting order across your area or your material things, right? Your space. If something is not working properly, either you fix it or you throw it away. Why do you want something that is not working, right? Or why do you want something that is not orderly, right? You come into your room and you have piles of papers. And why do you want that, right? Either you put order or you throw them away. And I've been really practicing this point recently, As you go in life, I don't know if it also happens to you, but we tend to accumulate things. I mean, really, especially here in the West, it's like we have so much stuff, And then you end up swimming on these things that you end up not using, right? So I try to declutch and clean my house, my room, areas, take it by gradients. You can take areas and just look, what do I use? Do I use really this? How long has it been that I don't use it? Okay, give it away so others can use it, right? You can give it to Salvation Army. You can give it to somebody else. Give it away. If it's a great piece, right? Give it away. If you don't use it, get rid of it. Keep your environment clean. And that's a point of discipline. Okay, very good. Number 3. He talks about meditation and chanting. Well, we normally in the West, we don't meditate nor chant, right? But I tell you what is good that we do is put an intention and decide what are you going to create that day, your main products of that day, right? Like instead of waking up and life giving you things that you need to do, decide before you start your day, what is exactly that you're going to do that day. What are you going for? What are your products? Operate and do things with intention. That's one of the things that he talks about, and it's so true because sometimes we just go like into a, rat race routine. No. What is your intention to create today? Right? Maybe you have to handle something at work. Of course you have to handle everything at work every day, but just put an intention of getting ahead of just the normal routine. Maybe there's a big project you have to tackle. Decide what points you have to tackle that day. Or maybe you want to handle something regarding your family or your children or your spouse or maybe your mother or maybe, I don't know, any area of life. Decide what are your main intentions for the day. Maybe you want to get in shape, right? Maybe you want to get healthier. Maybe you want to stop watching TV and the news because you want to get really more positiveness in your life. So put an intention or several of them of what do you want to accomplish that day before the day gives you the things to accomplish. You see, there's a key difference here. You know what he said? Either your cause to create your day or your effect and you receive from your day what your day gives to you. Maybe it gives you a problem. Your employee wants a raise or there's a flap on your company or, your child came up sick or this and that. So life is giving you things. No. That's okay. You'll handle. But what do you intend to do? That is very important, especially if you have we all need to do plans for the future. You have like your daily plans or your yearly plans or your more long-term plans. But if we have goals to accomplish in the future, we have smaller goals every day. Break them down. And those can become your intentions of the day. And make sure that part of those intentions is to have fun in life. Make it like Mr. Tony Robbins, right? I was listening recently. Make it a duty. Have fun is a duty. I tell you, there's times in life where I have been running through, I have to, and I have to say, I have accomplished a lot. But the thing is, sometimes in sections of my life, the word fun, I cannot even pronounce it. When I start looking that things are not going right, is when I stop smiling. When I stop smiling, I'm like, what? It's like I cannot live life without fun. Life needs to be fun. So make it a chore and a duty, not a chore, a duty to have fun. It's key on your day. So that is the part of meditation visualization is live life with intention. Decide what you want that day and start with it before your day starts. Okay, number 4, he talks about act of generosity. This is really interesting. I tell you, here in the West, we're used to seeing a lot about what we get. We take, right? we take an opportunity, we take your significant other comes with flowers, or why don't you love me? It's take, right? And here it is changing our viewpoint about getting ourselves trained to give. Exchange the flow around. There's a take, right, is inflow, and there's a give, which is outflow. Try it. He was giving several examples that were pretty fascinating for me. Every day, he goes to the bank. Well, not every day he goes to the bank. Once a month, or, once every 100 days, he goes to the bank and takes $100 in one bills, right? This is a fun drill if you want to try it. I thought it was pretty creative. He takes $1 a day, and in his meditation, he decides what he's going to do that day. That's a representation of the dollar, right? And he puts it back in his drawer, but in a different pile, right? So that represents something he's going to give out that day. At the end of the month, he has $30, right? Those $30, he decides where he's going to donate it and give it to. I thought it was fantastic. We all have something we're passionate about. $30 is not a huge amount of money sometimes, at least, not excessively, right? You can decide to, put it maybe away for a project that is going to help people. Maybe you're passionate about Africa or putting clean water in Africa. Find a charity to give it to. Or maybe you have your local church, that is helping people. Give it to that. And I thought that was pretty fascinating. You can do it it's just a representation. It's a representation of energy. It doesn't have to be money. Because here's the point, right? Is train yourself to give. I tell you something I thought about. That it would be awesome to do, and I'm going to try to do it, and I'll tell you as I do it on the podcast. Every day, I'm going to write a text message, right? You can write an email, you can write a letter, These days, letters are so foreign, especially for millennials. It's like, what, a letter? Hey, it's taking forever to arrive, right? But it's a nice thing to receive. I tell you, I just received a letter a couple of days ago from a very, very close friend, a very admired friend of mine. He gives his life to help others, all his family, and it was such a treat to receive that letter, keeping me informed and everybody else of what was happening with his life after COVID and this and that, and it was beautiful. So, you know what I thought? What about sending a text message or a communication in any kind to a person you haven't communicated in a very long time and saying, hi, I was just thinking of you. I hope everything is going fine. I send you my love, right? I tell you, I think that will create magic. Try it. I'm going to try it myself, and I'll tell you how it goes. But I thought, you know what? There's so many people we know, and there's so many people we keep in contact with, but there's so many others we don't. And you know what? It would be fantastic even though if we could send a communication to people we have had disagreements on the past, or fights, or just things haven't run well. How about sending a total different communication after years of not having any communication and saying, hey, hi, I was just thinking about you. I hope your day is going fantastic. Blah, 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 Marina. Right? So I thought that viewpoint about giving and taking was key. Key to happiness. I've been practicing during the last years, and I'm telling you, it has changed my life. And not for the worse, but for the best. You can give in any area. If you're making breakfast for your kid, I'm going to give you an example. You can do it from a viewpoint of, okay, another day in paradise, here's your breakfast, okay, I need to run. Or you can do it with intention and really as a giver. Hey, honey, here's your breakfast. Is there anything else you want? But really intending to give. It's a different viewpoint, either rushing it or really giving yourself on everything you do. Maybe you know that your neighbor is struggling with some kind of cycle. knocking at the door and saying, hey, I know it has not been the best of times. Is there anything I can do for you? Or maybe you cook something really good and you want to share it, right? Or maybe you didn't want to share it, but now you can share it, right? And knock at the door at your neighbor and say, listen, I cooked this. I decided I want to share with you because it was really good. Right? I tell you, you will create the most amazing surprises on people if you do those little things. And, in Mexico, this used to be my life when I was a kid. Neighbors, it was very interesting because it's very different here in the States. Neighbors will come and knock at your door and bring you food. Or they're just, I just thought about you. How are you doing? Right? And they will just come in and, hey, do you have a coffee? Give me a coffee, right? It's so funny because nowadays, of course, this has been a long time ago, right? Some water passed the bridge already. But nowadays, it will blow the face away to do that here, And I thought it was really beautiful. It was a community point. So again, just be a giver, not a taker. That your friends really enjoy you because you're a giver, not a taker, right? And the last point, he talks about do chores, right? Okay, they normally, what they do, the Buddhist monks, they wake up really early and they start doing things for other people. That's the way they live their life. They live without any physical accumulation of stuff. They're very light on their traveling, which is another point that I will really recommend you. Live life light, right? Accumulation of two material things, truly, they're more, they wait on you more than they let you fly. I've tried as well, and I'm telling you that the times when I have the most fun is when I'm the lightest. During the last 7 years, I've been, I haven't had my own location. I've been traveling a lot, and it was fun. Also, it's nice to have your home. I'm staying now in my own place. But while I was just traveling, it was fun. It was an adventure. I went everywhere. I visited almost every continent, and it was fun. I was traveling light. And that's the way, it's nice to travel in life also. Live life light without too much emotional bullshit. It's like try not to carry with you so many loads of bad experiences. I know it's hard, but try to be light. Put attention more on the present than on the past. Okay, so regarding doing chores, right? I do it like doing chores. The way he was talking about is like when you do this physical work, right? Cleaning your house, cleaning your kitchen. It puts you more on present time and takes you out of the thinking, out of the past, right? Just cleaning. If you have, I have a brother. He has a boat and he cleans it and he puts new things on it and builds on it and puts him in present time. Right? For me, it's also, cleaning my house. But for me more, and I want to tell you this, part of like doing your chores point for me is doing exercise, doing sports. If you like any kind of sports, you know what I'm talking about. It really puts you in contact with the present environment, with your environment. You look at things, oh my God, you find new things that you didn't saw before. It really, really is therapeutic. So I personally wake up super early, 4:30, right? Take something, in the morning I normally take a celery juice so I can cleanse my body. And then I go to do my CrossFit or I run or I do different things that I've been doing at sports. Recently I've been doing CrossFit. And I go 5 to 6 and my day starts differently. As soon as I start moving the body, I get lighter. I got less sluggish, more in communication with my environment. I can be more cause over the creation of my day and less effect. Funny enough, the times that I haven't put that in, guess what happens? I wake up and I'm tired. I feel sluggish. In fact, that's the times when I have gone to depression. Interesting enough, I realize that it's connected with the body. It's not only mental, guys. It's also body, right? For those guys that take pills for depression, I think there's better ways to go about it. And one of them is good nutrition, exercise, and wake up early, guys. If you don't know it, it's really a pleasure. So I hope it helps, these 5 successful actions or morning routines from a Buddhist monk. Have a kick booty day.
Thanks for joining us today on 10 Exit. Life and business as usual, never again. We love always hearing from you. Please feel free to send Marina an email, marina@marinasimonbrand.com. Your input and comments are always welcome, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you like the podcast, you can always subscribe to it. Remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it.